On January 15th, Elvis flew back into Memphis, but instead of heading to Graceland, he headed over here on Riverside to the Holiday Inn Rivermont. Following day, January 16th, he was to receive his award as one of the 10 Outstanding Young Men of America, the JC's Award, at Ellis Auditorium, but all the recipients were staying here at the Holiday Inn Rivermont. So Elvis decided he wanted to stay here as well. There's pictures of him getting up in the morning and going down for the prayer breakfast here, and then also to the lunch. The lunch was held here as well, and an initial kind of press conference with all the recipients. From here, Elvis took them all down to Graceland to give them a personal tour of Graceland. A few pictures were caught as Elvis then was leaving the hotel. Big crowds outside, as you might expect, and he did stop and sign a few autographs. Just come up here on Poplar to this building built in 1840. This distinctive candles outside. It was opened by Leslie Gates in 1958 as a coach house for a fine restaurant. Unfortunately, she was murdered in one of the back rooms of the restaurant here in the mid-60s. It was then reopened in the late 60s, and these four columns were erected, and out to the top there would be a flame in each one, and hence the new name of the restaurant, the Four Flames Restaurant. This was an upscale restaurant. Elvis wouldn't normally come here. Elvis came here on January 16th, 1971. He brought all the nominees, all the recipients, of the JC's Award here for a special dinner. I think Elvis felt that as the JC's Award was in his hometown, that maybe he felt responsible to show them a good time, and so they came here for a special dinner. It's now a child advocacy centre. Actually closed as a restaurant in the mid-1980s. And this building here is the Cook Convention Centre. This was the site of the Ellis Auditorium, which originally opened in 1924. You had two halls, and they were utilised over the years. One was a market, and another one was for performances, concerts, orchestral concerts and such like. Elvis was here at the Ellis for perhaps his proudest achievement, actually, on January 16th, 1971, following his dinner that he'd provided for all the recipients at the Four Flames restaurant further up on Poplar Avenue. Elvis and the other recipients of the JC's Award for the 10 Outstanding Young Men of America was held here at the Ellis Auditorium on January 16th. An award that Elvis, it said, carried with him for the rest of his life to most concert tours and what have you. We would always pack his JC's Award away, as he was extremely proud of that. So Ellis Auditorium was finally pulled down in 1999, and the last singer to perform here at the Ellis Auditorium was actually Bruce Springsteen in 1996. 99 it was torn down and replaced with the Cannon Centre there. The Cook Convention Centre is actually just behind it there. May 71, Elvis was back for another marathon recording session where most of the tracks for the Elvis Sings Wonderful World of Christmas, which wasn't really a wonderful World of Christmas actually, apart from Merry Christmas Baby perhaps. He Touched Me, the Grammy winning gospel album was recorded here as well. He came back in June of 1971, which would mark the last time that Elvis actually recorded anything in Nashville. It was June of 1971, but certainly it had been a highly successful studio for Elvis, and indeed RCA.